Oh no. Talk to me. Hey, Mayday.
All right, we live. What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Talking Sports with Manny. I got my very good friend Razman with me. We got a lot to talk about. Man, we got some great topics: trade talk, fantasy talk, week 8, week 9. It's going down. Let's get it. What's good with you, Tommy?
Ain't nothing much, man. Another day.
Yes, sir, man. So talk to me about this week 8, man. What went right? What went wrong?
All right. Honestly, week 8 went wrong. I don't know who it went right for, to be honest with you. But for me, last time we was on, I was telling you I thought McCaffrey was gonna play. That didn't work.
Liar. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that didn't work out. Lamar Jackson stayed in a dungeon for some reason. A bunch of guys died. Andy Dalton died. Amari Cooper died. Kenny Galladay died. We had a lot of funerals we had to go to.
Hey,
Tevin Coleman died before he was born.
Hey, I told you about Amari Cooper, man. I tried to tell you, man, but
Yeah, I mean, my question is, I want to know. The other one is Tyler Irvin. I just want to know which one can pass block the best. That's the one that's going to play more.
Right, that's true. That's true. I mean,
if you're looking for who you want to start, you're gonna want to start the one that can actually pass block.
Right.
It says the Irvin guy has 5 years of experience. So I mean, to be honest with you,
5 years on the practice squad.
What was that?
5 years on the practice squad.
Yeah, it seems like it. The other thing is, in my next one was, you want to pay attention to receptions.
Mm-hmm.
Who can catch the ball better?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to be a huge factor. Teams they want to be able to run the ball, but I think if the Packers are sitting here thinking, if we cannot run the ball, they can just challenge with running the ball. We'll just give the ball to a guy, let him act like he's going to run it, and even if he only gets 1 or 2 yards, there's still the threat of the run. But if he can catch out the backfield, if he can pass block, then that's the guy that we're going to use. So the guy I'm looking at is going to be the Irvin guy. And the other guy, Dexter, could be a great receiver and all. I just don't know anything about him, So I would say, what I know of the two, I'm going with Tyler. I know everybody else is saying Dexter. I don't know anything about this guy, So show me a stat where he's done some receiving, or tell me that he's a good pass blocker, and I'll go with that. Mm-hmm. But until then, I'm gonna trust myself.
I feel you. Like what that is, one guy was on the 53, then the other guy was on the practice squad. I'm not going with the guy that was on the practice squad. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. But sometimes, people come out from practice squad and things of that nature and take over. And I've seen it happen time and time and again. Like you said, one guy's a better blocker, the other's a better, runner or something like that.
And the other thing you got to remember about this year's practice squad is people can be protected. And I'm not going to sit here and say I know anything about if these guys were protected or not, but I do know that some of the players are protected.
Right.
And it's just like some of these teams have a quarterback that is on their team listed as the second string back. It's really not the second string back. Quarterback. The second string quarterback on some of these teams are on the practice squad being
Right.
protected, and I'll give you one. And my Titans, our second quarterback is not Alex Tanny or whoever it is that we got on our team. The
Right.
second one is actually Trevor Simeon. Now we
Okay.
might give Tanny the first,
Simeon.
the first to go at it, but once he sucks, we're just gonna put Simeon right on in because he's really, the true backup quarterback.
Right.
But Simeon's on our practice squad and he's protected every week. So,
Okay.
they're doing that this year,
Mm-hmm.
where they're allowing you to protect practice squad players where in years past you couldn't do that.
Right, right. I mean, it makes sense with all the rules and everything, and people want to play. This COVID stuff is real and is really, doing damage to people in the league. But in most leagues, okay, we now have a running back like Myles Gaskins, your guy, Myles Gaskins. He's out for 3 weeks. He's going to the IR. So you have a guy like Jordan Howard who's available. He may or may not do anything. You have Breida. And they just traded for a running back today in DeAndre Washington from Kansas City. So just imagine coming from Kansas City, now you're going to the Miami Dolphins. I mean, that sucks, but at the same time, at least I see an opportunity for all three backs to really go at it and kind of see who does what. So in those leagues that that we play in, that's, running back heavy, these are just some desperation dives. Jordan Howard now becomes relevant again, whether he plays or not. Like I said, for me, I like Matt Breida out of that backfield. What is your preference in that particular backfield?
I'm going with you on Breida as well.
Yeah,
that's the one I like. Also, want to give you stats on Dexter Williams. Okay. So the only stats he has is 5 attempts for 11 yards, averaging 2.2 yards per carry. So that may mean nothing. Yeah, it may mean nothing.
Right.
I'm going with Irvin.
I feel you. I'm going Dexter. Let's see how it works out.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out.
Oh man,
I want more people to. Hey, everybody, go Dexter. All right,
Dexter. Yes,
I'm picking up Irvin for the free 99.
Yeah, Dexter is the guy. I'm not putting a claim for any of these guys. I'm going to get it for free. Think I'm paying for these bums? I'm not paying for these guys, bro. I'm going to try to get these guys for the free 99. Also, there's a running back by the name of Troy Maine. Pope plays for the Chargers. Man, hey, he's come out there and he's taken some carries away from Joshua Kelly. This guy might be something. His stats from the last game, I'm about to pull it up, wasn't that bad at all. He had 10 carries for 67 yards, had 5 receptions for 28 yards, 14.5 PPR points. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. I mean, him and Justin Jackson pretty much split the backfield. I didn't even hear or see that other guy, the rookie Kelly. Deion Lewis had a pretty decent game. I think he had a touchdown. He made some nice clutch catches. So it's tons of running backs out here for those of us that are, looking for running backs. Everybody was saying Wayne Gallman. Wayne Gallman did score a touchdown, but so did Deion Lewis. You also got guys like Devontae Booker that plays for Vegas Raiders. Just in case something happens to Jacobs. In today's NFL and today's fantasy, you got to go ahead and handcuff you guys. You got to handcuff you guys. You can't fool around and play around with this because with COVID hitting right now, bro, on my bench, I have nothing but handcuffs. Yeah, if I don't have field position players, I have nothing but handcuffs, running back handcuffs.
I understand.
And that's how that's how I was able to get Jamal Williams. That's the exact same way I was able to get Jamal Williams because I knew eventually, Aaron Jones might get hurt or something. And it was like a fluke injury for Aaron Jones. And I just got so lucky that I already had Jamal Williams. So I didn't have to put in a claim. So guys, quick tip, if you have extra space on your bench, get you your Pollards, your Madisons. I have Madison in about 3 leagues, man. I'm not letting him go ever. Guys like now DJ Dallas, homer, because with Carson, we don't know what's going to happen with Carson. And that was my fear coming into the league, was Carson and his injuries. So you see a lot of the top backs, they have gotten hurt or they will get hurt. And then now, I mean, we did our top 12 backs, right? None of these backs are, starters. They're all backups. Now let's dive into the wide receiver rankings so far for this particular week 8. All right, coming in at number 1 is DK Metcalf. He had 40.1 points. He had 12 receptions for 161 yards and 2 receiving scores. Coming in at number 2 was Devontae Parker with 30 points. He had 7 receptions for 53 yards and 3 touchdowns. Number 3 was Robert Woods. 4, Corey Davis. 5, Tyreek Hill. 6, Brandon Ayuk. 7, surprising, Mecole Hardman. 8, Cooper Kupp. 9, Keenan Allen. 10, Curtis Samuels. Man, Curtis Samuel went off. Number 11, Mike Williams, and number 12, Julio Jones. But let's look at some guys that were surprises, man, like Mike Williams.
Mike Williams is a big surprise.
Man, 5 receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown. And I told you that I trust Herbert with Mike Williams. Remember that?
Yeah, but the only thing is that guy had, the game before he had, 4 yards?
No. I get it. That's Mike Williams for you. We all know who he is. He's a guy that's going to catch some 50-50 balls. Okay, the game before that, he had 27 points. He had 5 receptions for 109 yards, 2 receptions. I mean, two touchdowns.
Yeah, tell me what he had the game before that.
Yeah, the game before that, 0. He probably didn't play, probably injury. Then the game
before that, 17. Game before that, 14.
14, yeah.
But listen, but maybe he's growing and with the guy. So but listen, two out of the last 3 games, he basically had 100 yards. So that's good. That's good. I like it.
You're right. 8 targets, 5 receptions, about 100 yards, and a score. If that's the Mike Williams we're going to start to see, even if I'm seeing this every other game, I'm okay with that because in this bye week, right, it was a lot of guys. It just seems like the bye weeks are getting worse and worse. I had in the OG league, I had Terry McLaurin out. I had Chark out. I had DeAndre Hopkins out. So I had to go into free agency and pick up Scotty Miller and Kendrick Bourne. You know what I'm saying? That's why those guys were starting. So if you have a guy like Mike Williams, he's a nice wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 with the upside of going off like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to me, another surprise guy was Curtis Samuel. He had 3 rushing attempts for 23 yards and a rushing score. Then he had 4 receptions for 31 yards and then a receiving score. So Curtis Samuel is a wild card. I don't like his game really in real life or fantasy, but he's just one of those guys that you look up and he has double digits. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, no, I'm with it. That Carolina offense, especially as long as McCaffrey's not there. Yeah, I'm starting to give Curtis Samuel a real look. Real look.
And then let's talk about another surprise. Mecole Hardman, man. 7 receptions, 96 yards, and a score. Who is this guy? I know
you don't play the Jets every week, but I do like Mecole. If you're thinking you're getting 20 points out of him a week, But I think he's good for a good average of 12.
Yeah.
If you're needing 8 to 12 points, Mecole Hardman's your guy.
Right.
And honestly, I'm the guy that thinks like that. Everybody wants, DK, in every receiver slot. If I can get me some 2 studs and then get me a guy that's going to get me that I know is getting me 8 to 12 points. I'm with that. That's goal for me. If you're gonna show up every week, give me 8 to 12. I can deal with that. That's championship right there, or that's playoffs. You need the consistency.
All right, bro. So 2 more surprises to this list. Brandon Ayuk, man, he's coming into his own. He had 11 targets for 8 receptions, 91 yards, and a score. And it seemed like the minute that Jimmy Garoppolo went out, the the offense looked good. I
Yeah.
think that Jimmy Garoppolo was done in San Francisco. I think that the guy moving forward is going to be Nick Mullins until they draft another quarterback. Also, I think that Brandon Ayuk is going to have a big game come Thursday night.
I think so. Well, okay. I'm with you on most of that. I think that you got to remember though, Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl last year. The thing.
Did he take him there?
Well, hold on. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Garoppolo's been hurt this year. Apparently, he never got right. He rushed back. He looked bad. And when you put bad tape out, you can't take that back. Okay. So I definitely don't believe you'll see Garoppolo again until either the end of this season or he's feeling 100%.
So you're going to see him next year as the backup to Ryan Tannehill.
Well, listen, quarterback mark is going to be great next year.
Yep.
Listen, here's to all the dynasty guys. If you can if somebody wants to give up Garoppolo right now, believing that, hey, he's not going to be anywhere next year. Right. Just remember this. Bill Belichick and the Patriots probably won't be keeping Cam Newton next year.
They're
not. Garoppolo's on the market. And they may pick them. A rookie, right. But I definitely believe they would really like to bring Garoppolo back in because Belichick never wanted to give up on him. Bring Garoppolo back in, give him a couple of years, and let that draft pick be on the bench for a couple of years.
Right.
And the Patriots would be right back in it because I know that Bill believes in Garoppolo. Because he was going to trade Brady.
Right. Most definitely. So, yeah, man, I like Ayuk this week. And also Corey Davis, man, your guy, 10 targets, 8 receptions, 128 yards, and 1 touchdown. That's major.
Yeah, we talked before the year, and I told you that I thought Corey was going to have a good season, and mainly because they were going to take the second-year player away in AJ Brown, and then here you have Corey Davis, open or here in one-on-one coverage, more than likely,
right,
and that was going to lead to good things. So Corey Davis is one of those people that's been a good 8 to 12 points guy.
Right. So look at the stats for Corey Davis so far. 17, 12, 11. Then he missed those 2 games in the bye, obviously. And 15, 26. It's pretty solid. And what I like about Corey Davis this season is that he's getting anywhere between 5 to 10 targets a game.
Yeah.
So if he's getting anywhere between 8 to 10 targets, that means he's going to be catching anywhere between 6 to 8 receptions.
Yes.
That's pretty solid. You give him 10 targets, he's going to get you at least 6.
And coming back to Ayuk, I really like Ayuk because Ayuk's not going to have anybody challenging him for receptions for a while. You have Bourne out there, but Bourne is basically your more traditional receiver. Ayuk is more of your Swiss Army knife.
Right.
Basically what they were doing with Debo. He's doing the same thing they was doing with Debo. So Ayuk is going to run the ball. He's gonna come out. He's gonna come out the backfield catch. He's gonna be in the slot. He's gonna be on the outside. So Ayuk is going to be very involved with all things 49ers right now.
Yep.
So
they are the same people.
Yeah, that's a good player. And when those 2 guys are on the field at the same time, oh my God.
All right, we got a question from our guy Clutchful. Thanks for tuning in once again. He says, do I start Ayuk or Antonio Brown at the flex this week? Do I trust him? Man, this is a great question. I'm gonna let you go first, Tommy.
Oh, this is easy. Ayuk. I don't trust Antonio Brown. We don't know what part of the offense he's gonna be. We don't know if if the coach has his players already there and Evans, Godwin, and then the other guy, Scotty or whatever his name is.
Scotty Miller.
Scotty Miller. All right. So if he's already told those guys, hey, well, we're just bringing in extra help, then that means that Antonio Brown's the 4th guy. Now, maybe he does tell Scotty, hey, listen, Scotty. Hey, man, you're the 4th guy.
Man? Who is he?
I mean, listen. I mean,
Scotty ain't
you just
nobody.
don't know. But Scotty's been there. Scotty's been there. Scotty's been doing what he's supposed to be doing. So sometimes when you go to for a team, for a guy that has to lose his spot to somebody, the team has
Bro,
to understand why. But listen, but maybe
Scotty practice, man. We talking about practice, though.
maybe the coach told him. Maybe the coach told him, "Hey, listen, it is what it is." So maybe that's the case too. I don't know, but
All right,
I
so
don't trust Antonio until I want to see what they're doing, Antonio, before I start him over somebody like IU that I believe is gonna get me the points. If
right,
it's
so here,
somebody like if McCaffrey's back this week and it's Curtis Samuel and Antonio Brown, I might think about it. I'm probably
so,
still go Curtis, but I might think about it.
all right, so here's my take on this whole thing. So I was looking at some articles and looking at some stuff. They were talking about that Antonio Brown is going to get anywhere between 15 to maybe 30 snaps this week. He's not going to get the 60 plus snaps. Okay. They're going to ease him in. But then also with Chris Godwin being out, Antonio Brown to me is a number 2. They didn't bring him out there to just play, the fourth option. But here is the thing that makes the Antonio Brown thing tricky. You got Gronkowski, who's playing unbelievable ball right now. So you got Gronkowski, you got Mike Evans, but those guys are just touchdown guys. Those guys are big target, get the first down or get the red zone touchdown, right? I believe that Antonio Brown is going to get a lot of targets, a lot of receptions, and a lot of yards. He might not get touchdowns, but he's going to get a lot of yards. So moving forward, I see him as a guy who can get, on average, 7 receptions for about 85 yards, then he might be able to get a score. So as much as Scotty Miller is there, he's going to replace Scotty Miller. The offense that they run is so interchangeable. They love to throw the ball deep, but Brady can't throw the ball deep like, this coach would like to. So, but yeah, I'm going with Brandon Ayuk as well. But yeah, I do like Antonio Brown moving forward, though. He's going to be nice. I took Antonio Brown out of my lineup and I put Justin Jefferson in there just for the simple fact that I know what Justin Jefferson is going to give me.
Yeah, I would do that.
It's all about the role. We got to see Antonio Brown first before we just put him in there.
Yeah.
Only put him in there if you have no other option.
Let me tell you who I'm starting him over, because I do have Antonio Brown in my starting lineup in the league, and let me figure out who I'm starting him over.
Okay.
And this will probably give you a really good idea of my mindset. Let me see.
So Freckle says, is Antonio Gibson a good start this week? Yes. Being a Redskins fan, Washington football team fan, I might be biased, but I do believe that he balls out versus the Giants. I believe that Antonio Gibson is trending up. He's going to get a lot of receptions. They're learning how to use him like a Christian McCaffrey-like type player. The Scott Turner offense, he loves to throw the ball to running back. So I think that Antonio Gibson is a great start this week with a floor of 14 points.
Okay. Yeah, I like Antonio Gibson. I like him this week. Let's go.
And I also like J.D. McKissick. So if you're in a running back hungry and, you're just looking for, guys to start, McKissick is going to be a good play as well. I see both guys being two backs that can probably get about 5 receptions apiece. They got to get the ball out of what's his name's hands quick, because the Giants defense is pretty solid. And the only way to kill them is to get the ball out quick. Terry McLaurin is going to do his thing, but look for McKissick and Antonio Gibson to do their thing as well.
Yeah, I like Gibson. I'm not sure I like McKissick anymore. I believe the Gibson is going to start to get the lion's share. I think we all hate McKissick.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's there.
Right.
But he was there kind of helping us transition over to Gibson. Mm-hmm. Gibson's the guy. That's the guy they want to be taken over, and that's the guy they're gonna really push. And in the Giants, I don't think they're that terrible against the run. But I like Gibson.
Giants are solid all around. But here's this question. Pick one. Brandon Cooks or Brandon Ayuk? That's a tough one.
Ayuk. I'm going Ayuk. I think Cook Cooks is more of a toss up. I mean,
Yeah.
let's look at Cooks, man. I think he's more of a toss up. He's had some pretty decent weeks as of late.
And they're playing Jacksonville. But I still go Brandon Ayuk, though. I will go Ayuk. I agree with you. But Brandon Cooks is not a bad play.
He's not a bad play at all. I mean, if we're looking at his last couple of games, he's on. So out of 6 games that I'm sorry. Out of 7 games, he's only had 3 bad ones.
Yeah, I mean the first 3 were probably bad, and then the last 3 were probably decent.
The second one was good. It's out of he had 3 bad games out of his first 4. His last 3 games were pretty good. But the other thing about those games were, in those games for the most part they were outside of the Jacksonville game, they were down by.
Yeah, I mean that's
Houston. So they were throwing to come back.
Yeah, I mean that's Houston all day, every day. They don't have
right, but they may not be. Even though he had a great game against Jacksonville last time, they might not be down, and they might not have to throw to come back.
That Luton guy's going to come in there and light them up. Them boys is trash, man. Them boys is trash. He's going to come in there and light them up. It's going to be the same old thing. Mind you, Will Fuller almost got traded. He almost got traded to the Green Bay Packers, so he might be in his feelings. And if he's in his feelings, Brandon Cooks goes off. But I still go Brandon Ayuk. I have a good feeling about
it. I definitely feel like they had a game plan. They had a game plan featuring Cooks in the event that Fuller was traded. So
so that's going to be interesting. Let's jump into the tight end position real quick. So Travis Kelce came in at tight end number 1 with 24 points. He had 8 receptions for 109 yards and a touchdown. Man, I'm so glad I traded for Travis Kelce. In every league that I had Kelce in, I pretty much won. If your tight end is going to give you 24 points, you pretty much win that week. Jared Cook, number 2, I picked him up free in number 1 league. It's crazy. Eric Ebron 3, 4, Hawkins 5, Tonyan 6, Ingram 7, and 8, Schultz 9, First 10, Trey Burton 11, and Zach Doyle number 12 with 9 points. 9 points is one.
He said 9 points is what?
9 points is a tight end 1.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Listen, 8 points. I'm sorry. 8 points is a tight end 1.
Man,
he's not a top tier tight end 1.
Right.
8 points. If you get a consistent 8 points, it's tight end 1.
Yeah, that's why in a lot of my leagues I'm selling my tight ends. Like if it's not Kelce, I'm selling you. If it's George Kittle, which he's gone, I'm trying to sell the guy from the Ravens, Mark Andrews, right now. I'm trying to trade him.
So let me give it to you like this, and that's one thing I promise you. I will never draft a tight end high again ever. But let me give it to you like this, and let's talk about some of the guys that's in the top 12 this week. In the top 12 this week, on various teams that I've had, I picked up Ebron off of waivers.
Smart.
Gronkowski off of waivers. And these are parts of my teams now.
Right.
Tonyan off of waivers, and I picked up Burton off of waivers and made them big parts of my fantasy teams.
Right.
And I let go of guys like Higbee and Jared Cook, who I had taken. Yeah, I took them early, or earlier than I needed to, and I really hate that I did that. And so let's talk about it again. Ryan Tonyan is 5th in points in tight ends.
Right. I mean, that one amazing game that you used to beat.
Yeah, but still, 5th in points. When I took a guy like Cook and another guy like Higbee, rounds, in rounds I could have been taking a second quarterback or third quarterback in certain leagues. It was just a bad idea.
Yeah, it's better to get tight ends at the end, man. To be honest,
at the end.
It's crazy.
The guy that everybody thought was going to take off, Hooper, who was being picked early, 48 points. Ertz, 49 points. I mean, these guys.
Hey, nobody picked Hooper in the leagues that I'm in. Nobody picked him early. Nobody.
No, he was going. Let me see where he went in this draft. But he wasn't going like after he was going before like round 10.
Okay.
In leagues, and that's not in a 14-man league, and you're going. I bet he went. In probably like round 7. Right. I can almost guarantee it. I'll inform you later on it, but you can keep making your other points. But yeah, it's really bad.
Bro, let me tell you something about tight ends. So the Green Bay Packers needed a wide receiver, right? These guys drafted a quarterback in the first round, drafted a running back in the second round, drafted a tight end in one of the deepest ever for wide receivers. And then now, got a trade for Will Fuller. The Houston Texans wanted a second-round pick. Green Bay said, nah. They were trying to buy him for a pick. This is funny to me. You go tight end. Now you figure out that Equimini is suck. A guy like Scotland, he sucked. That other guy got hurt. But yeah, it's crazy. So, bro, I had a question from one of my people that I play fantasy football with, and I've been coaching her in fantasy football. She's getting better. She's learning how to make trades and stuff like that. So her biggest question was, how do you make your team better trade-wise? I'll let you start, and I'll finish with that.
It depends on your philosophy of trading. And it's a good thing for me and you to talk about it, because our ideas of trading are completely different. They're a complete reverse. And when I trade, I'm looking at my team, and usually how I draft my team is I'm trying to get guys that I believe I'm gonna be able to pick this guy, and he's gonna be solid. I usually don't want any risky guys or any super sleepers, that I'm taking early. That's for me, that's bad business. I want somebody that I can put there. And I'm like, all right, this guy I can count on most of the year. And the funny thing about drafts or about drafting is, you're picking guys, but you end up, your mind tells you to pick upside,
right?
Along with the player that you pick, and so you end up getting guys that you don't feel like is solid. You end up drafting a Chris Carson because you're looking at that upside, and you see what he's doing during the season, and you're like, Chris Carson is tearing it up. I got to draft that guy next year. But the thing you continue to forget is Chris Carson misses games. He's always shaky. The guy is always a game time decision, and that's stuff that that's problems that you don't want. So when
people say that Chris Carson misses games, but when you look at the numbers, he hasn't really missed games. But go ahead.
But I'm saying, okay, you can say he doesn't miss games, but it feels like it. It feels like he misses games to me. It feels like I don't feel like I can trust him. I don't feel like I can trust Chris Carson at all. He came into the season, his hip was messed up. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? I mean, where is he now? You're telling me he don't miss games. What is he doing now? And listen, and it happens with running backs. I get it, but it's always something wrong with Chris Carson. He's always hurt. No one believes in Chris Carson because of this. But like I say, you end up with Chris Carson because you're trying to get upside, and then and then every week he's hurt, and you're sitting there like, is he playing? Is he not playing? You feel like you need to get somebody. You end up trading the guy. Just leave Chris Carson alone. Right. Don't draft him high. He does not deserve to be drafted high because of that. But we do those things in our mind. We say, hey, we're not getting Chris Carson. We're not getting Chris Carson. And we end up picking Chris Carson because we're like,
see him in the third round, and he's just smiling at you. And you're looking at guys like Mostert and some of these other David Johnsons and,
right.
You're like, I'll go Chris Carson. Hey, Chris Carson is the guy that I wish I would have drafted this year because he's tearing it up.
He's
up, and he's catching the ball. So if he's catching the ball, that just makes him more dangerous.
Don't worry. Chris Carson, people are going to draft Chris Carson next year. They're going to overdraft this guy.
Yep.
And the other thing is, and listen, I think Chris Carson's dead for the rest of the season. I believe, I just do. I just do. You can't put too much pressure on this guy. You can't, whatever. If they want to run this guy and believe in him, he's not going to make it the whole season. They ought to just give Hyde the ball and DJ Dallas the ball.
Hyde, where is Hyde? He's hurt himself.
I know. I get it. But what I'm saying is just make it a committee. But regardless, let's talk about the trade.
Right.
So because the way I usually try to pick solid guys that I don't. But I end up picking risky guys like Carson as well. But when I try to trade, what I try to do is I try to get the best player. I want to get the maximum amount of points. I'm usually thinking about points as far as, all right, how can I get more points in this position? And I want to get as many points in each position that I can get.
Right.
So if I'm trading, a lot of times I'll trade 2 for 1 or even 3 for 1 because I identify a guy that I believe is going to get me more points than the guy I have in that position. The other thing is I never have guys on my bench that aren't doing anything. They're just sitting there staring at me, being stupid. Like I see guys they have Malcolm Brown on their bench. Listen, if Malcolm Brown will never start on your team, why is he on your bench?
Exactly.
Get rid of that guy. Exactly. Go get somebody that you feel like is going to be potential, or somebody that you feel like is going to be a handcuff. I'd rather have a handcuff or somebody I feel like is going to be, great upside, great potential. We're seeing what he's going to do. Those are the guys I want on my team. So what usually happens is I get those potential guys and they're going off, they're getting points. So I'll combine that with another guy that's on my team that I feel like isn't giving me as many points as I would like. And I'll put those two guys together and I'll see about offering them to somebody that can use both guys, and I'll upgrade my position. And that's the type of trades that I want. I want to take when my friend trades me Melvin Gordon, I want to turn him into Christian McCaffrey. That's the type of trade that I want to do. That's one we actually pulled off earlier. And I traded a bunch of guys, that Patrick guy from Denver, Gordon, and some other guys. I can't remember their names.
Trash.
All for Christian McCaffrey, and so I upgrade a position. And that's how I trade,
So for me, I'm a little different. What I do is I'll kind of go to different people and say, hey, what don't you need? Okay. A lot of times when I do that, I'm able to get a lot of trash that, like, for example, I did it 2 days ago. I went to a guy and I said, hey, man, who don't you want on your team? He goes, well, I guess I don't need Joe Burrow anymore. I guess I don't need Edelman anymore. I guess I don't need Mike Davis anymore. I said, all right, give me Mike Davis and Burrow. And I was able to give him, I think, John Brown and something else. You see what I'm saying? Now I have Burrow and I can trade him for something else. And this is a keeper league. Did it again. I said, hey, what don't you want? He goes, well, this guy is an Eagles fan. And I know that he knows about Dallas Goedert, right? So Dallas Goedert was still in IR. I traded a guy that was still in IR for Darrell Henderson, the Rams running back. So I do things like that. Then I'll take 2 of those kind of guys and package for something better. So now that I have Joe Burrow, right, there's a lot of bye weeks. I've looked at what's out there in free agency. I'm like, you want to use this guy or do you want to go to free agency and get this guy? And they're like, well, I'll trade you. So what I like to do is I like to go and ask people, what do they not like on your bench? Now, if it's useful, I'll trade week to week in order to fill bye weeks. Others will go towards free agency and try to fill it that way. But if I can fill the bye weeks through trades, then I keep my waiver priority high. That if a top running back goes down or a top receiver or whatever goes down, I'm always tops on the waiver wire. And people are always mad at me like, how do you stay at the top of the waiver wire? I don't use my waiver wire on things like kickers and defense. Why? So that's kind of like how I like to trade. Jose just asked us something. He says, who do you think is going to win between the Chargers and the Raiders?
Raiders.
I think the Chargers win this one. Okay. I have zero faith in the Raiders, man. They I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know their record, man. It's like
I don't think the Chargers. I think the Chargers are talented. I don't think they have that killer will yet. Okay. I think the Raiders. I think the Raiders have a chip on their shoulder. I mean, they've been left for dead, and I think they're after it now. Okay. Also, Manny, with trades, I wanted to say this is it's a good idea to kind of know what your opponent needs. I mean, I know Manny's asking, or like that too. That anything you know about your who he's who you're talking to, you definitely want to know that. I would say, also with trading though, is go and look at his team, look at his bye weeks, look at what's going on, and you'll find yourself getting a trade, faster when you can solve an issue and a need, for somebody, right. And then sometimes they'll have a guy that is frustrating them. Mm-hmm. I forget. I identified a guy not too long ago, and I was like, I know this guy's been frustrating the hell out of this guy, and I'm like, I'm going to put a package together for him right now because because this guy.
Amari Cooper probably. I don't know.
No. Actually, I haven't made that trade yet, but I was actually trying to get Michael Thomas. I was actually mad that the dude hit accept on the Cooper trade because I almost had. I knew the other guy was thinking about the Michael Thomas deal I offered. I had picked up. What's funny is I picked up Leonard Fournette. Those dummies dropped Leonard Fournette, and I was like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna use him for a week and try to trade him. Right. So I used him for a week, and then here was all right, time to trade him. Packaged them, and then I was like, and I had. Well, the funny thing about the Michael Thomas trade was the guy that dropped Leonard Fournette 2 weeks ago was the guy that I was going to trade him back to.
Henderson. Yeah, I know because I'm after Michael Thomas as well. I just haven't sent the deal yet. That guy is terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna
man. He was Michael Thomas was still not playing that week.
Yeah,
that's how he not playing this week. I said I know he's mad. I know he's mad. I know he's frustrated.
Yeah. He's a guy that trades week to week, but he's willing to give up something good because that player is not playing this week. Like he traded away Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson to one guy. And I'm like, why did he do that? Because they're not playing this week. Yeah, Henderson is going to watch the show and he's going to be mad that we're talking about him, but I don't care. I mean, if you make a bad trade, you get roasted where I come from. So also, when you're making a trade, you want to trade away pieces that you feel like you can replace. That's what I do. So if I'm trading 2 or 3 guys for one guy, those are 3 guys that are depth pieces but are on my bench. For example, kind of like how you traded 3 guys for Christian McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying? You can replace those guys. I traded Calvin Ridley, Devontae Parker, and Melvin Gordon. I didn't care about Melvin Gordon and Devontae Parker. The big piece in that deal was Calvin Ridley, right? With Melvin Gordon now, it's a lot of funny stuff going on, and I'm about to trade for Lindsey as well in that league. Devontae Parker, with Tua coming in, it's not going to be what it was with Ryan Fitzmagic, okay? So when you trade, you always want to give up pieces that you feel like you can replace. You don't go ahead and trade away pieces like Christian McCaffrey unless you need pieces. If you need like 2 or 3 starters, then you go ahead and trade the Kamaras and the Christian McCaffreys of the world. But for me, if I'm building a keeper or a dynasty league, I'm never going to trade Christian McCaffrey. I'm never going to trade Kamara. I'm never going to trade a lot of these top tier guys. If anything, I'm gonna go buy those guys. So when I'm buying these guys, these elite guys that you cannot trade, like these elite guys that are very rare and hard to come by, I'll package 3 or 4 guys on my bench that are nice and solid, for that one good player. Or I'll take my least starter. Let's say, for example, tight end, right? I'll take a Mark Andrews and package him with Antonio Gibson and Slayton, or you know what I'm saying? Something like that to get that top tier guy. So that's how you trade. You have to lose something in order to gain something, but at the same time, you don't want to give up a top tier or rare talent. Okay. There was somebody that's in my league. Somebody offered her, I think it was Derrick Henry for Jonathan Taylor, and it was another running back. The other running back was way better than Jonathan Taylor. But this person said no because for whatever the reason was, Jonathan Taylor's going to be a keeper or whatever. You let go of Jonathan Taylor and whatever it is in order to get a Derrick Henry. A Derrick Henry is an elite special talent that you don't get all the time. So it's worth a Jonathan Taylor and whatever, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So
I was right from to ask you that, pose that same question to you. Like if say you have a DK Metcalf, right? And somebody's offering you, oh man, well listen, I'll give you Julio Jones and I'll give you Julio Jones and a Gaskins.
Now, that's interesting. Okay. If it's redraft, because it's not every league that's a dynasty or whatever. If it's dynasty, I'm not doing it. If it's keepers,
that's what I'm saying. In a dynasty,
I'm out. Right. No, I'm not doing that. Now, if it's just like a redraft, you draft every year. Yes, I'll do it if I don't have no running backs. If I have 0 running backs, and Gaskins is out here putting up like nice numbers, he's an RB2, and then Julio is still Julio. He's still a top 7 wide receiver. I take that deal all day long. All day long. Just because I know I need a running back.
Got you.
But if I didn't need a running back, I'm not doing
it. But in a dynasty,
no.
In a dynasty, the thing you're thinking about overall is in a redraft, you're playing week to week. I mean, honestly, you should always kind of look at the team as week to week. But you still want elite talent. Right. In a dynasty, elite talent is gonna is I would say it's kind of like Kenyon Drake this year. Kenyon Drake was stinking it up, right? But the one thing about Kenyon Drake, as opposed to somebody like maybe a Gaskins or somebody like that, somebody that's kind of like here today, gone tomorrow, is Gaskins can have 3 to 4 really good games. Mm-hmm. But you still don't know if he's going to be the running back next year.
That's the big thing.
A bad game, he gets replaced quick. Kenyon Drake was stinking it up, and he was still getting 20 carries this week, 30 carries that week, 24 carries. It's the opportunity. And I'm not sitting here saying that Drake is an elite talent. I'm just using it as an example of, when you're invested into a certain player, or you are considered a star player, you're gonna get the star player treatment, which is you're gonna have the opportunities. This is like AJ Green. Right. So everybody kind of wrote AJ Green off. I didn't, because I'm sitting there thinking, well, they're still gonna give him targets. They're still gonna, the good thing about him as opposed to one of these other, flash in the pan type people is, that Fulgham guy, in Philadelphia is cutting it up right now. But what happens when all other players come back? Sad. What about the Patrick guy in Denver? What happens when all these other guys? He'll fade away.
Yep.
But I'm saying somebody, but somebody else is gonna, the star player is gonna continue to get targets. They're gonna continue to want to make him good because they believe in his talent. Whereas as opposed to somebody else who's a lower tier or not as big a name, he's here today, gone tomorrow.
Right. So we got 4 more minutes left on the show. I want to go ahead and add this. I do believe Julio is an elite talent. Some people don't like Julio like me, but when you look at it, he's going to get you 7 receptions and 100 yards just about every game. Then if he scores a touchdown, you pretty much won your league. So Julio is one of those talents that he's going to get you 15 to 20 points every single game. I just don't know how he does it. Even with Calvin Ridley, if Julio's healthy, he's going to put up points for you. So guys like that are special in redraft. I believe that DK Metcalf and Julio are on the same level in redraft. Yes, DK Metcalf had that amazing game last week, but how many games like that has he had all season? None. 12 receptions, 161 yards score. He's not going to get that every single game. So people are overreacting on that one amazing game by DK Metcalf. Can he do it consistently? Possibly, because you have Russell Wilson, the GOAT, playing with him. But at the same time, temper expectations. I know that DK is good for 20 every week. He's getting the 4 receptions for 90 yards and a score. That I can say that's the floor for DK. Now, the 12 receptions, that was impressive. But let's not forget who Julio is. Julio is still, one of the GOATs to ever do it. One of the best to ever do it at the wide receiver position. So for me, if I can buy Julio cheap, I'm doing it. Whether it's in dynasty, keeper, redraft, it doesn't matter. He's just an elite talent right now, and he's still producing. You got any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Nah, nothing but, hey, saying, guys, send questions through, and so we can get to them. And if you have any other questions, we definitely want to give them answered, even if it's just something you want, another opinion on. It's not like we're saying that we're experts and everything we're saying is gonna come true, but we'll say you'll definitely get different opinions,
right,
on something you were thinking.
Most definitely, man. Once again, it was a great show. It's how we do it, man. We're gonna be streaming more and more, like I said. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. Once again, this is Talking Sports with Manny, with Razman here with me today. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to turn on the notification bell so that way you're notified when we put out new content. Also, be sure to share this podcast with one or more. For those that are listening on Apple, be sure to give me a 5-star review. Be sure to rate, like, share on Twitter. My handle is TS with Manny, as well as Instagram, TS with Manny. And then we are on Facebook, Talking Sports with Manny. Appreciate you guys. Y'all be blessed and y'all stay safe.
Have a good one.